project we're talking about today is Kindred Bookstore and Bistro. It's a brick job in Post Falls that is very decorative. It's for a private ownership group that they're kind of escalating an old industrial area with a pretty intricate, delicate, beautiful building. The general contractor on the project was Leone and Keeble. The architect is Wolfe Architectural Group out of Spokane. The engineer is GLR, and the primary suppliers were Mutual Materials for the brick and Central Premix Oldcastle for the mortar. And then Precast by Design did all the decorative precast for the project.
Ownership came to us with some, I think, really interesting visions of what they wanted to create. And a lot of that was focused around kind of historical architecture, maybe turn of the century, and also stuff that they had experienced in trips through Europe. And so they brought this desire to create something that felt like it had been there, felt like a sense of history without faking it, right? And also a sense of permanence. So we took those ideas with them and we incorporated some nods, I would say, to historical architecture, kind of turn of the century again, and the use of the masonry and the use of some of the steel detailing, cornice detailing. That all, I think, speaks to kind of this sense of history and permanence that they wanted to create.
Overall, there's about 55,000 brick on the job, and it's not a very big building, so they put a lot of brick on this. It is designed to be the corner piece of that lot, so it's pretty exciting. The owners were very good to work with, start to finish. They were hands-on with the mock-up panels. They were hands-on with choosing what they liked and didn't like. They were decisive about it, and they're on site every week, excited to see their building coming together. So that's been kind of good. A lot of times you never meet the people that are going to be the owner and the end user, and it's been kind of fun to have them there the whole way, seeing it get built.
One of the kind of early visions for the project was really how to address the corner at the new roundabout, because that's going to really create this strong presence as you drive into the development. So the building is very rectilinear until you hit that corner. And then we created a curved kind of corner entry condition with a lot of glass that really is going to open up the entry of that space. And then to top that space off on the second floor, there is a large octagonal skylight component that sits on top of what is a really nice kind of seating area up on the second floor, where people can grab a book, sit down, read, drink their coffee, and really have a nice experience and enjoy all the daylight from that space. You can see all these projects now that are using brick and other masonry units in really interesting ways. I think there's been kind of a push towards, like, well, what can we do that just respects what the masonry wants to do and wants to be, but at the same time put a little bit of like a fun twist into it as well. And I think that's an exciting thing as well, working with some of our industry partners that they're excited about their product and they love to show off what the new, blends are, what the new colors are, what the new, method is that somebody's used that created a really cool pattern or texture. And I think it adds a richness to projects that otherwise, there's not a lot of other materials that can lend those qualities to a project.
I've been working with WAG for 20 years, and they are one of my favorites in the fact that the architecture is good and the architects are all approachable. You can have a conversation, you can interpret their intent very easily, and if something needs to, adapt, they're open to changes as long as their architectural intent stays the same. So to be able to have that conversation, not just issue an email or a piece of paper, makes it a really good experience for us. And I think the crews enjoy it as well because they actually get to see the architects on site, they get to have conversations with them, and they understand, both of them tend to understand what the other one is wanting and or going through. So it makes a more harmonious project, really, just having that connection with the design team.
It was a project that went out to bid. There was no guarantees who were going to be on the team, but we ended up with a great team, a great general contractor, and luckily Ian and Anderson Masonry on the job. And it's been an awesome experience. Both their leadership out on the job in the field, their expertise in the field. Ian does not hesitate to give me a call and say, hey, what are you looking for here? We draw these buildings, right? But there's gonna be a nook that we missed or a crevice that we didn't detail. And to have a team that wants to ensure that they're capturing and executing the vision of the project at every level and make sure those details are right, and also add their design expertise in the field, because we like to think we're the designers, right? And these guys are out there executing. But their knowledge, like with Anderson Masonry, their knowledge out in the field of what's gonna look the best and what's gonna detail out the best way and give you the final aesthetic design that you're looking for is invaluable.
It looks like it's a building that's been there for a long time and that will be there for a long time. So it's kind of an entrance to this area that's being redeveloped and, becoming a new part of the community. That's why you should build with Masonry. That's why you should build with us.